In the dusty summer of 1876, the town of Red Hollow was gripped by a sudden panic. A young widow named Evelyn Harper and her 3 small children vanished without a trace. The last anyone saw of them, they were boarding a dusty supply wagon driven by a crooked old trader known only as Silas Gray. With his dead eyes and false smiles, Silas had promised them safe passage to relatives across the frontier. But the truth was far darker than anyone could have imagined. Silas never intended to deliver them to safety. Instead, he sold Evelyn to a ruthless land baron in a distant mining camp. He then dragged her 3 terrified children, 12-year-old Tommy and his little sisters, Lilia and Rose, deeper into outlaw country. Their fate was now chained to the open road under a burning sun. Back in Red Hollow, folks could only whisper prayers, fearing the worst. The family, they thought, was already gone. Days later, with blistered feet and empty stomachs, the children saw their chance. During a violent storm, Tommy helped his sisters slip their bonds, and they fled into the treacherous canyons. It was there that fate intervened, placing them directly in the path of a quiet, lone cowboy named Caleb Rhodes. Caleb was a man with a scarred past and a code of honor stronger than iron. When he discovered the 3 shaking children huddled beneath a rock ledge, their eyes wide with fear, he offered them water before he asked a single question. Later, safe by his campfire, the truth spilled out in broken words. They told him how Silas had taken their mother, how she had screamed for them as she was dragged away, sold like property into the night. Hearing their story, something ancient and furious awakened inside Caleb. He, too, had lost his family in a similar, brutal way years ago. Without a moment's hesitation, he saddled his horse. Looking into the children's desperate faces, he swore an oath. He would bring their mother back, or die trying. Meanwhile, Evelyn was a prisoner, locked in a wooden room above a raucous mining saloon. Her hope dwindled with every sunrise, surrounded by greed and guarded by cruel men. She was now the possession of a man who valued power over souls. Yet, even in the depths of her captivity, she refused to break. She held on to the memory of her children, clinging to the faith that somehow, someday, they would find each other again. The hunt across the desert began. For 3 bloody weeks, Caleb followed the faint wagon tracks through treacherous outlaw trails, past isolated trading posts, and into lawless camps. He clashed with Silas's hired guns in narrow passes and storm-split ravines, leaving warnings written in gun smoke and dust. Silas, knowing judgment was chasing him, ran like a cornered rat. The final confrontation erupted at a remote mining camp. Under a blood-red sunset, Caleb stormed through a hail of gunfire, broke down the door to Evelyn's room, and dragged Silas out into the open. The outlaw begged for a mercy that would never come. With the law finally watching, Silas Gray was hanged at dawn, the desert swallowing his last lie. When Evelyn saw her 3 children again, safe in Caleb's arms, she collapsed, her body shaking with sobs of pure relief. The children ran to her, their cries echoing louder than the desert wind, as if trying to fuse their souls back together. In that moment, something changed inside all of them forever. Caleb escorted them back to Red Hollow, not as prisoners of fear, but as survivors of hell. As weeks turned into months, survival slowly gave way to quiet healing. And healing, unexpectedly, turned into love. Caleb admired Evelyn's unyielding strength, and she saw in his quiet gaze a man who would never abandon her. One day, beneath the open prairie sky, with the children cheering around them, Caleb asked Evelyn to be his wife. She said yes, not out of need, but out of a trust that had been rebuilt from ashes. This broken family found a new beginning, forged not by blood alone, but by courage, and a promise kept across the deadliest miles of the Old West. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story of the untamed frontier, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tales from the Wild West.